Hey everyone, this is Houston Modern Audio. I'm Dorothy, and this is Jason.
C4 is out here in Angleton. He has Press Play Studios. C4 has broken the mold, and he's the epitome of a Texas engineer. Get it out the mud, manifest destiny, all by himself, making it out here. In addition to his own work at C4Play, he's That Mexican OT's primary engineer. He's also worked on Lil Wayne, Big Yavo, Maxo, Big X the Plug, Da Baby, the Who's Who of Houston, Slim Thug, Paul Wall, literally everybody. Yeah. He's a literal get it out the mud guy who's done everything for himself out here in Angleton, Texas. C4, thank you very much for having us here at Press Play Studios.
Man, I appreciate y'all coming through, man.
You've done everything that's gone like completely against the grain of what everyone says you have to do from Texas.
Yeah.
Everyone says you got to move to LA, you got to move to Atlanta, you got to move to New York, got to move to Nashville.
Yeah.
Or got to move to Toronto. Or even just being in Texas, oh, you got to move to Houston.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, nah, like you came out here, built your own thing.
In the country.
Yeah. Locked in with another artist out here. Like the odds of all those things kind of lining up and you just having the wherewithal, the discipline, and the know-how to put it all together is freaking phenomenal.
I appreciate that, man. And honestly, like that was one of my biggest like things and goals. Like obviously, like I make music too, and so I always wanted my stuff to sound like what was on the radio, but I didn't know how to get it. Mm-hmm. And my brother Bama found Barron Studios and was like, yo, they're doing everything that like we want. You know what I'm saying? Like this is it. And so that's when we started going. I recorded with both of y'all. I was probably like maybe 17 when I first started going. But I also was doing my engineering at the same time, if you can call it engineering, you know what I mean? I didn't really know. I knew how to press record, you know what I'm saying? And so my goal turned into wanting my stuff to sound good to I want to bring that vibe, that, you know, radio ready quality back to the country because we didn't have this down here.
Yeah. Like
there was other people that recorded down here, but it sounded terrible, you know what I'm saying? So Houston had it, so that's why I was, you know, making the 4-hour drive, you know, 2 hours there, 2 hours back to get that knowledge. And before I even interned with y'all, like just recording with y'all, I mean, both y'all gave me so much game. Like y'all let me pick y'all's brains. Like y'all weren't like, stop asking me questions. Y'all didn't mind if I was looking over y'all's shoulder. So like that was a blessing for sure.
No, man, and it goes back the same way because now I'm calling you and being like, what's one of these clips?
Yeah.
You turn me on to the Unisum compressor. That's probably like one of my favorite.
Have you tried their limiter?
I tried the limiter. Limiter, like I still haven't like gelled with yet.
Me neither.
I'm super picky on limiter.
I just switched limiters. I'm using the invisible limiter now. The second
limiter?
one.
Yeah, that one's cool.
The second gen. I like that one.
I'm on the AL1.
And
the Ozone 12. I use stack limiters and a gold clip. I use 3.
I love gold clip. I use gold clip too.
Yeah, that's what everybody's using right now.
Cool. I don't have the $7,000 Lavery Gold, so I gotta
right.
gold clip it.
But that's why I find people, if they actually know what they're doing, they do like limiter like one by one, like they just kind of stack it so that it's actually achieve a certain sound.
Right.
So that is not gonna be like you're slamming into it too much and whatnot, and just like I find that most useful for my stuff.
For sure. It definitely sounds more musical too versus like squashing all the dynamics with just one thing, you know?
Man, there's I bought, it's a Behringer compressor and
I saw that.
It was $300. Now they're like going from like 6 to like 1,000.
Oh shit, okay.
And the only thing about it was the knobs were real shitty on there, but I like replaced the knobs with like some really good knobs. And it's a compressor, it's a stereo compressor and a limiter. And that thing, man, like, it looks wrong. Like when you're looking at the meters, like buried in like 7 dB the whole time. It looks wrong, but it sounds like I can't find a plug in that I can slam shit into like that. And it just sounds like music to me.
Yeah.
Like it sounds so good.
And you know, a lot of times we got to not use our eyes. And I try to get better with that myself because there's times where I'm like, man, I'm pushing this way too hard, but it sounds good. And so I'm like, I'll pull back a little bit just for, you know, my own conscience, but sometimes you gotta let it rock. Definitely.
But man, I think the vocals that you get with OT, like his vocals sound so good to me. It sounds so consistent too, and I know he records at a bunch of places, And I've
Yeah.
gotten a bad vocal from him that he
Yeah.
did like on the road.
Uh-huh.
But like the consistency that you end up getting out of his stuff.
Yeah.
And I think you just knowing his voice and like how to work with his voice.
Right.
And I imagine his vocal's not the easiest vocal either,
Oh.
because he's got this he's got a fundamental. He's got this chesty
Right.
but he's also got his voice is kind of scooped out too.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
where everybody's got a lot of like 500, 600 stuff like that. I imagine you got to kind of detail some
do.
of that stuff in his vocal a
Absolutely.
little bit.
And it's honestly right in that range that you said. So I have to approach it very different, especially the last like 2 projects, since he's been on the road a lot more. Like he records a lot of different studios, and sometimes on the tour bus, like it's everywhere. So I approach everything different, but whenever he records here, I definitely try to keep up more of that fundamental that you said. And what I've noticed with like some of his features, because I don't mix all of his features, they carve way too much out, and his vocals can feel a little thin, and it just loses that body that everybody knows OT for. You know what I mean? On his vocals. But yeah, that 500 to 600 range, like I'm doing like, you know, some notch EQs or like some, you know, smaller bell curves and stuff like that.
And when you record them, it's always the you're using the lot need in into
yeah, it's the Lawton Eden 386 into the BAE 1073 into the Tube Tech CL1B, and then that's going into Pro Tools.
yeah, we still don't have a 2-tech. We still don't have one. We still want one.
I love it.
We don't
Yeah.
have one.
What is your usual setup on the CL1B?
So I normally keep the gain knob at 0. If we start at the 1073, I'm normally using the red knob for saturation, 40 to 45, sometimes 50 depending on if the vocalist needs more. But the Tube Tech, I keep the gain at 0, and if I feel like I'm getting too much saturation from the 1073, I'll pull back on that, and then I'll push more into the Tube Tech with the gain. And then ratio, I'm keeping that at like 2 to 1, and then the attack, I'm keeping it around like 1, 2 o'clock. Release is fairly fast, and then I'm in manual mode. I pretty much keep it in manual mode. That way I have full control of the attack and release.
When you're writing them into the Neve, does that version, does it have like a red light? Are you like actually like seeing saturation come in on there?
No, it's all by ear.
Okay.
And then also the EQ section, I dip a little bit around 220, and that's about it. Sometimes I'll add a little bit of air if I feel like I want some of that like analog top end. But for the most part, I keep that where it is, because the Eden in the forward mode has a nice little top end that it does. So I don't normally need that too much.
Yeah, when you brought that to the studio, I've been so impressed with that mic. Like that mic has been in my brain ever since then.
Yeah.
And that's definitely, I think something that's a mic that Dorothy and I definitely want for like our collection.
I love it.
Yeah.
Since I had to send this one off, like I've been low-key wanting to have another one just to have it, you know what I mean? But man, shout out Kang, because he's the one who put me onto that mic, because I was thinking about getting the Manly, and he was like, bro, you should really check out this mic. And he was telling me about the different modes it has and how it's more versatile. And man, I looked into it for like maybe 10 minutes. I was like, I'm sold. So I got it. And man, I don't really see myself getting any other mic. Maybe a 251 in the future. But I love that mic though.
It feels like it's got all the qualities though of...
It's similar to a 251.
It's got all the qualities of... Basically, I think there's some 251-ish aspects. There's some C800G aspects, and there's some 87 aspects.
No, for sure. Especially if
really
you
good.
switch between
Yeah.
like the neutral and gentle mode, you'll definitely get some different characters for sure.
I'm on the 251 train right now. I haven't used the C800 in a little bit.
Yeah.
I started to find 251 much more versatile, especially I start recording a couple of artists that is like female artists but got like a very deep vocal. So I tried C800 on them, and I was just like, I like it, I don't love it. So I start switching to 251, and I was just like, that's the sound. Like you still got the body of the vocal, but also like you can do so much more and still make it forward without losing all this low end and stuff. And I was like, yeah, I think too, there's a reason why like so many people actually like using it.
Right.
So that's great.
Whenever y'all use the C800, obviously on some vocals it can feel a little too harsh, right? Or a little too much.
Absolutely.
Whenever y'all use the 251, have y'all ever came like across the situation where it was like, man, this is not giving me the sound that I need, and it's more corrective stuff that you have to do with it?
Not yet. I feel
Not
like
really?
I feel like the 251 takes EQ a little bit better than
Yeah.
than
That's how I feel about the
800 G. Like, I
251,
feel like I
yeah.
can really I can
I mean,
really get in there and kind of shape it a little bit,
yeah.
make it do what I want
Yeah.
it to do. The C800 sometimes, like, you can high pass it like 200, and I still feel like sometimes there's too much low body
Yeah.
in the vocal.
And I feel like C800 got a, if it's right, it's like great.
Yeah.
But then if it doesn't work, it's way harder to actually get the sound.
Yeah.
Fat was actually, I record her on 251 the whole time because at first she was doing C800 because Toby has been doing
Right.
C800. But then I was like, I'm not sure like Fat is like that's perfect for her. So like it took me at least like 4 to 5 different try. But then I just stick with 251. I was like, yeah, you pick the SSL for the preamp. It just sounds it just sounds great.
Right. I know y'all have the U87 too. Is there any situations where y'all prefer that over the 251?
Man, the U87 I've actually probably been using more than anything, and we
Yeah.
had that Mike Castoro from the Wonder Audio.
Yeah.
He modded our 87. I don't know exactly what he did. What I think though is there's these little electrolytic capacitors in there, and there's some like gold ones, and I think he switched those out. But whatever he did, man, it's like a hyped up 87.
Yeah.
It's got such a clear, like the 3500 to like 5500. It's not really a boost. It's just clearer than. It's not as flat as a regular 87.
Right.
But it doesn't sound edgy either. It feels really,
again,
really
it just
good.
takes EQ really good. Like you can put a big shelf on it. You can poke on it, and it holds EQ really good.
As far as like the character on that mic, it being a solid state versus like the tube mics that y'all have, do you feel like you still get like a certain vibe with the 87, like a certain character that?
We're usually running through a 1073.
So you get
1176.
you get your character from that.
Yeah,
I got you.
And really, like to be honest with you, 1176, not really doing a lot of compression on it. But we got one of the old dual like early 1176s, and that one like, no, it is a UA. It's a UA one. It's a UA 1176, but it's after Yuri. But it's all vibe.
Yeah.
Like that
Okay.
thing it rounds off all the top stuff. Like I don't really have to use de-essers like crazy.
Okay.
Since we started using that again. We're all back on a real analog thing right now.
I seen that. Like y'all are doing like summon and all of that stuff. How's the workflow going with that?
Man, the summing's dope. So we got these old Rosettas from like the 90s.
Yeah,
I think they came out in the 90s. So we're using these converters from the 90s, but we're ADATing into the Rosetta, and then we're feeding that into the summing mixer, and then that's going back into and then usually that goes through my compressor and then back into Pro Tools.
Yeah.
And it's kind of dope, man. I was working on a Zydeco record.
Okay.
And I've never done that music before. And I've only worked with the guy who's from the Zydeco band. He's a producer as well. And we worked on rap music together like a decade ago. And he just hit me up. He's like, "You want to do the Zydeco record?" And I was like,
Hell yeah.
I was like, sure. And so but I'm working with like every drums, live drums, all live instruments. Everything's live, no samples, no nothing. Every like kick drum is 3 mics. There's a kick out mic, kick in mic, kick sub mic. I hate live drums. Like I hate them.
Yeah.
You have to do so much work to live drums to get them to hit way like rap drums hit. But man, when you're mixing analog and you're like turning the drum up enough and the tone of the drum changes by how much volume you push it, to do that digitally, like you got to get the drum where you like it. And then you got to figure out, okay, what saturation do I want? And then you're with the keyboard and mouse and you're clicking shit to make something happen. And when you're just hearing the stuff go through the converters, you're like, oh, wait. When I jack it up 3 decibels, it goes from like being bassy to like being like pokey and attack and having a lot of attack. If I roll off of it, it does this. If I take 200 out, now it's bassy again.
Right.
And it just feels like, I don't know, your mix feels a little bit more alive, like even while you're mixing. And I feel like you make different decisions because you're reacting to like what you're hearing instead of having to hear something in your head and make it happen.
Right.
But it's cool. And also like you get shit like way loud.
Yeah.
It's so easy to get stuff louder.
Just clipping through the converters and stuff?
Clipping through the converters, yeah. Soft clipping, coming back in. And then on the Neve, we use the Neve Orbit for a summing mixer. It's got a little 6 dB trim, so you can kind of trim back too. So you can actually get it like 6 decibels hotter, trim it back 6 decibels, and then come in and you just got all this headroom your limiter's not even hitting and you're like at negative like 6.
Yeah.
If you want to be.
Yeah.
But you can always like bring it back a little bit.
Right. I definitely catch myself starting to push more and more into the loud dance wars. You know what I'm saying? I started off like, all right, I think the first album we did with OT, the Nonsense and Mexican shit, I was shooting for like negative 8.3. And then by the time we got to, I think the last project was Recess. I think that was like our 5th project we did. I'm like negative 7.7. And then now I'm doing stuff and I'm like slowly going into the negative 6s. I'm like, man, I might need to chill out. But it goes back to, does it feel good? You know what I'm saying? And that too, you know?
And I think the only way you can hit those 7s and 6s, especially in rap with big 808s and stuff like that, the only way you can do that is if your mix is balanced.
Oh, for sure.
If your mix ain't balanced, if there's one thing out of whack,
yeah,
you're around 9 or 10. No matter what, like you can push, but like you have to have a balanced mix to be able to get it that loud. Not just like loudness, like dynamics. Everything has to be working the same way.
Absolutely.
To get that loud. So.
And I feel like it's not necessarily, I don't want to say the only way, but it's a lot easier for me to get to that loudness with like track outs and stuff.
Absolutely.
And I have to explain to, you know, some of my clients, like if you really want to be competitive and be able to like push it to these like same levels, like we got to have the track outs.
Absolutely.
And what's crazy is like I'm at a point right now where all of my clientele that come in and they get that first track out experience, like it blows their mind and like, okay, now they're all coming back with track outs. So I've been blessed in that regard because I'm like, okay, now I'm dealing with a lot of people who care about pushing their music as far as we can. And it allows me to, you know, take the gloves off and like really go in, you know what I mean? So
man, that's kind of where I'm at too. Like I'll work with anyone that allows me to work the way I want to work.
Yeah.
Like, and that's really like, if I don't care about sales, I don't care about millions of streams. I really like, if you just let me play with my toys the way I want to play with them, like we can do a lot, like we can do good work together.
For sure.
And but that does mean like, that means track outs, that means time to actually mix. I'm surprised by how many people I'll do a mix for. We just, like we've talked to you about the app and stuff that we made. And now we've got like this untitled function where as soon as they get done with the song, it goes up into this project playlist. They can put their own album artwork on there. They can move the order of the songs around. They can leave me notes right on there with timestamps. It's like Untitled. It's like the one we made. I'll send you a copy of it so you can check it out.
Oh, absolutely.
Because this is something we definitely think we want to flip over to other studios too.
Yeah.
And I'm just surprised by how many people give you no feedback.
Yeah.
Like they're just like, nah, it's cool, but I'm like, nah, but listen to it at home, listen to it at your studio, listen to it in your car, do all that stuff, and then like, give me notes, give me feedback.
Yeah.
And it's like a lot of local artists, it's like a one and done kind of thing, and I'm just like, nah, like I want feedback. I want you to tell me like, or do the vocals sound the same way in the car, at the house, or something else? And I'm just always surprised by how many people just like. That it just stops at the studio, and then like you'll see them like a month later, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, we gotta change this and this," and I'm like,
"We could have did that."
Nah, like I need to know, like you got 24 hours to tell me what's up because I gotta move on. Like mentally, I gotta get on to that
next one,
that next thing. When you were working with OT, what was the first song that y'all did together that like just was out of here?
That took off. La Cobra. That was the first one. Yeah, that was he sampled a big song and it just took off. It was a cumbia hip hop like fusion, I guess you could say, and that one went crazy. And
did that one come out independently, or is that one that got him going on to the majors?
That one came out independently. I think the labels maybe wanted to pick it up, but since it had that sample and it couldn't get cleared, I think they just kind of left it a part of the back catalog. But that was the first one that I would say you started getting eyes on him from the majors.
And then in that process of you being your own studio owner, artist in your own right, and his engineer, what was the process once he got signed? And the only reason I ask is one mission that we have at Houston Modern Audio is, you know, when we go out to LA and stuff like that, there's these huge entertainment cities and big music cities with, you know, billion-dollar industry literally of the people move out there for this.
Right.
And then here in Texas, we always do a very good job of building up clientele and building up an artist and doing all those things that are not even engineering things, just things to develop artists. And then the artist will always get poached by the label, and the label always wants to keep their people going
yeah.
and the industry over there where they're at. What was that process of basically him coming from a local artist out here to getting signed, and then you maintaining that relationship with him? Because
Right.
that's also, again, that's, and talk about you just being against the grain, like,
Yeah.
that almost doesn't happen.
Yeah, that's, I would say, a very rare situation how it played out. I think what it boils down to is, I mean, OT's a stand-up guy, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I ain't got no complaints about him. So that song took off, and OT was like, man, I ain't trying to change the formula, like it's working. And so I think what worked in my favor and in OT's favor is we were already doing like millions of streams before the labels came along. So he had a lot of leverage, and the labels knew that. And so it was like, well, shit, it's already working, it's broke, let's not fix it. So he kept me as the engineer. Like, I've mixed all of his albums. He uses a lot of the same producers, still, same videographer for the most part still. So like, I mean, a lot of that falls onto OT, because I know a lot of artists can get swayed to, let's use our guy. This guy has 7 Grammys or this and that, yada, yada. But instead, OT was like, nah, I'm gonna keep my guys. And he let us build. So now I got several plaques and Billboard placements, and now I'm, you know, in the industry.
So just having that actual real person relationship with another real person. Yeah, no. Was there any of that went on the label part of things? And I'm not trying to get you like shit talk labels or nothing like that. I'm not anti-label either.
Yeah, nah. I mean, for the most part, man, I didn't get any pushback from the label. The label was, so one thing that I've learned, so before OT signed the paperwork, I had a connection to Billy Hume, who has several Grammys. Yeah, several Grammys and all of that.
Really cool
so
guy, very good with information.
We share a cousin.
No joke.
Bro, random as shit,
That
right?
is some,
We
like,
share a
boondock
cousin.
shit right there.
Exactly. And so my cousin was telling me about his cousin, you know, on his other side. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I hit him up. I was like, yo, how much for a consultation? Just so I can be prepared to know how to negotiate, because I didn't know what my label rates were going to be. I didn't know like what to expect or anything. And so we had a consultation. He gave me some game, and I kind of knew what to expect going into it, right? And so OT signed the paperwork, and then I started, you know, talking to his manager at the time, and the person he was signed to as well. And it just, they weren't super helpful. Like, I feel like I had to ask a whole bunch of questions to like pry information out of them, like how do I get paid, right? And I feel like they didn't have an answer for me. And so the more questions I asked, they're like, oh, we'll get you set up on Uniport, which is how Universal pays out all of their vendors, you know, engineers, producers, all of that. But I wouldn't have gotten the answer if I wasn't, you know, asking questions. And so I got set up through Uniport. I had to fill out a whole application. It was a whole thing. Well, OT also had producers that we came up with, right? And I had got my first check, and they were like, yo, how'd you get paid? And they had no idea they didn't know what Uniport was. So I had to be like, yo, bro, you got to get, you know, signed up with Uniport and this and that. But where I was a step ahead, and I got to, you know, thank, you know, my team, the whole Alligator team, because they set me up a long time ago, you know, with the, you need an LLC, you need an EIN number, like you need all this stuff. And I needed that to be signed up with Uniport. And so a lot of the producers that were coming up didn't have a LLC or a DBA, they didn't have an EIN. And so they had to wait even longer. They had to go through that process and then do the application with Uniport.
And then try to go retroactively to get
Exactly. So I feel like every engineer should just, even if you're not there yet, because I did this shit back in like 2017. Like I was
Bama's
a nobody.
Bama's always been on top of stuff like that.
Right, right, absolutely. So like I was set up for the future that I didn't know I was gonna have. And that was like 10, 15 years before shit popped off. You know what I'm saying? So be proactive, even if you don't know where your future's gonna be. If you're doing music, like treat it like a job. You know what I'm saying? Like do this shit for real, whether you're an artist, engineer, producer. So, but that was like the only little situation that I had where it was like weird label stuff going on. You know what I'm saying?
And then what was the process of you working on the album? Because a lot of times as mixers, you end up either the tracking engineer, mixing engineer, you work on the album. Were you doing all the mastering too? or how did the label handle the mastering side of things on like Johnny Dang and stuff like that? Once you guys started, basically once he signed, what was that process with? Because I know you work with Craig Bauer.
I haven't worked with him directly. No, I did a class with him, and that's one thing too. Like I'm still learning, even though where I'm at, I'm still learning. So I did one of his Zoom classes.
What about Tucci?
That's so he did the Atmos masters.
Okay.
Because I wasn't really into Atmos. But as far as the stereo masters, I'm doing all of that. So every album, I mix and master completely. Every single mix and master.
And so with Craig Bauer, then you took one of his classes.
His classes, correct. And shout out to King again. He's the one who put me on his classes. That's my boy. Yeah. But
King is always in the clutch, man.
Yeah, bro. every time. But yeah. So that's pretty much how that went about. The first project. We did most of it before the label, like even signed them. So we had a whole bunch of stuff like in the chamber ready to go. And when he got signed, I just had to finish up a couple of songs, but I already had the mixing and mastering done for most of them. And that's pretty much been the formula all the way through.
I think that is something else too, that's also Texas.
Yeah.
In Nashville, in LA, the discipline is still kind of old school, a little bit of like, you're a tracking engineer or a mixing engineer or a mastering engineer. Right. And if you're a tracking engineer, your goal is to be the mixing engineer. And a lot of times the mixing engineer guys end up being the mastering guys later. But in Texas, we don't get that.
Yeah.
We're the engineer.
You have to do it all.
We're the guy that we built the studio. We purchased everything in the studio. We record in the studio. We mix in the studio. And we have to master everything that we mix.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times our artists, even when they end up getting the budget to do all those things separate, they just don't work like that out here. Like everything is so like one stop shop, and I think that's something different that a lot of people don't understand about Texas engineers.
And a lot of the time, I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but I can for sure speak for us, because I mean, I've sat in y'all sessions when I interned with y'all. A lot of the times we play the role as a vocal producer, like hit that again, we need more energy.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, the tone switched here, like maybe we should move this part of the beat over here because it's the actual hook part of the beat, because a lot of times artists just write and they don't, you know, think about arrangement and stuff like that. And so a lot of the times we play that role and don't get credit for it. Like I do that with OT and I don't get credit for it.
Yeah, that's a big difference. In LA, if you sneeze in the room, you got a point. Like you get a credit. You get a credit. We don't do it
especially
like that
with pop splits too, because like everything's just split even all the way down, no matter if you wrote a bar or a hook or a verse, you know. So,
it's funny, like now I know in LA and Nashville, like the Bay, like they always like split everything. They would like just be like, if you're mixing, like you're only mixing because you know it's gonna send to mastering. In Texas though, like they will specifically tell you, I have people come to me, they just assume mixing and mastering is go together, like it's not separate unless they first specifically tell me, hey, just mixing because we do mastering later, or someone's doing mastering. Like it's the other way around, which is pretty wild.
I like to think back to something that Dave Pensato said. So he was like, I think someone asked him, like, what do you do with mastering? He's like, I don't master, I just mix, so there's not enough room for the master, you know what I mean? And I feel like I took that into my philosophy, you know what I mean? So like I do top down, you know what I'm saying? So I start with all my shit on, I mix into my compressors and limiters and all of that, and it turned into, I mean, that's my workflow, you know what I mean? So,
yeah, same.
Yeah.
I just feel like, and there's no shade on mastering engineers, of course, but I just feel like if I spent the time already recording all of it the way I wanted it recorded, and then I spent the time editing the way I wanted it edited, and mixing the way I wanted it mixing, why would I just hand it over to someone that has no sense of the song? Like there's no point in that for me, as long as I'm able to do like what the artist visions it sound
right. And a lot of the times the artists leave, you know, happy, so it's like they have a great mix, a great master, and they love it already. So,
and also like everybody gets demo love so much. I don't want to be I hate tracking. I hate tracking sessions. I don't want to be the tracking engineer. But I really don't want to be tied to someone else's tracking mix either. So like I make myself be the tracking engineer as much as I can too, just so I can just that way they leave with my vision and their vision like together from the start, because I hate having to go behind someone else and just be stuck
Yeah.
with whatever the artist has been listening to
Right,
for
like
the last month.
their vocals might be more boxy than they should be, but you
Yeah.
kind of
Oh,
have to
yeah.
do that
Or
because
too loud or not loud enough, or
Yeah, nah,
yes.
for sure. And it's about finding that balance too, and also a little bit about educating the artist and letting them know, like, bro, you should probably go listen to what's on the radio right now, or like top 100 or something, and like listen to your vocals compared to these vocals.
Yeah.
Like, your demo isn't it. Like, it should be
Yeah.
like this. But at the end of the day, it's about finding that balance and making, the artist happy. But I definitely agree. Like, I try to tell everybody, come record with me. It'll be cheaper. If you don't record with me, I'm not giving you an hourly rate. Like, I'm just gonna give you a flat
rate.
Yep, that's what I've been doing lately.
That's a good way to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And man, if someone records with me, and also like, I can give people more leeway on mixes than I can on recording time or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
If I recorded it, I know. If I recorded it, it's real easy for me to figure out how much time I think I'll actually need to do like a mix.
Yeah.
If someone's just sending me something from wherever, especially because I don't do a lot of single songs. I do a lot of projects at once. And sometimes on those projects, like, man, they might record at 5 or 6 different studios. One song might take a couple of hours. One song might take, especially if it's always my job to find the track outs, get in touch with the producers,
Right.
figure out who did what song.
Yep.
Because a lot of these guys don't have A&Rs, and some of the guys on labels with A&R teams, I don't know what their A&Rs do, but they don't do that anymore either.
That's the same situation with me and OT. Like, a lot of the times, like, I have to reach out directly to the producers, and he has A&Rs on his team. Granted, no shade to the A&Rs because they do help in a lot of situations. And for any engineer that's starting to work with a label, you should definitely build a relationship with the A&Rs, because they can push them invoices through. They can do all of that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And if you go that extra mile, like for me, this is kind of the left field, but they have to find the producer like for each track, and a lot of times it'll be 3 producers per track, and so they need a list of all of these people so they can do the producer agreements. And I make their job easier by going through the track list, and I'm like, okay, such and such did this beat, such and such did this beat, and then I send them the list. And so like doing little stuff like that makes them go the extra mile for me when people are dragging their feet and not processing invoices or all of that.
Man, that's not even left. Like, that's the best point in the world.
So
Because I think Texas engineers, learning how to deal with the industry outside of Texas is like something that everybody. I mean, I've been doing this for 20 years now, and it's still a case by case. I have to learn new tricks every time I interact with people outside of Texas about music.
Yeah.
I was working with a producer from LA a couple weeks ago, and he told it to me really good. He's like, we got feelings about these things because it's music, and he's like, let's take music out of the equation. He says, Silicon Valley's in California, right? And I'm like, of course. And he's like, well, now Austin is being hailed as like the new Silicon Valley. And so you got all these tech startups coming out of Austin. A lot of these teams are like 4 people, 10 people teams, like our family businesses essentially, but they're designing apps or web software or something like that. And he said, and then you've got this whole billion-dollar industry in Silicon Valley. He's like, why would Silicon Valley reach out to anyone in Austin to try to help them take money out of their economy? And he's like, it's the same thing with music. He's like, it's all good and everybody likes music. He's like, but at the same time, it's still a business, and it's still in LA's best interest to keep as much of that business in LA as possible.
Right.
But they got to find artists from all over the country, all over the world. But it's still in their best interest to keep as much of that money in LA as possible. And then literally the next session I had after that was another artist. And every time they were talking about their budget, the artist would be like, I need 2 extra tickets 2 extra first class tickets on this flight to Miami. And they're like, all right, take it out of the recording budget. Like, I just listened to them, like every expense was coming from the recording budget. Like, we're in the studio trying to finish a record, and I'm hearing them like 4 checklists, like, oh yeah, take that out of recording, but like they're just cutting my budget the whole time while I'm sitting there. And I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
So it's really like, especially like making the A&R's job easier, building relationships with any other engineers on the project beyond you, and building that network. Building the relationships with all the other producers on the project, because there's a good likelihood that producers are popping too, and you're going to end up doing other things with them, and just kind of be in that contact, and just really like extending your brand beyond the studio.
Right.
Especially for someone like in your situation, like you've got to be in here working with the artist, doing all those things. The artist is gone. You're still doing mixes and masters, and you're sourcing out to producers and stuff like that, making the A&R's job easier. And you're answering your phone and making sure you got business booked for the next session.
Right.
That's a lot right there. And so finding any other ways to extend your brand beyond just you and that artist in the room by networking with A&Rs and producers and stuff, super important.
Absolutely.
Like super important. And that's an art form literally in itself. Because like you've already alluded to, if you're not asking for it, no one's looking to just give it to you or hand you any kind of relationship key or anything else like that.
Right. And no, like you said, no one's going to hand it to you. So there was a situation that I had fairly recently where I was dealing with A&Rs. I got an email thread like with a whole bunch of A&Rs from UMG. And I sent in the invoice and it was supposed to get processed like a month or so ago. Never did, but I'm like, all right, maybe they're waiting to release the whole project. Well, all the singles from that invoice, all the songs came out, but the invoice still hasn't got processed. So I'm like, well, damn, let me send an email back, you know, to confirm. So I sent an email, asked about the update. I got an automatic email saying that A&R that was handling the invoice wasn't Universal no more. So forward it to this person. So I added that person to the thread. I emailed them and they're like, oh, hey, you need to forward it to this person. So I forwarded it to this person, added them to the thread. So I say that to say that you got to go out there and get it and make sure that you're getting taken care of, because they're not going to be like, oh, we need to pay this person. Like, you know what I mean? So they'll drag their feet, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Especially with like A&R and stuff with record labels. That's what I find is that the people like keep switching, so you have to keep knowing, okay, what's going on next. Like email threads is like always 20 people for no reason, but then you have to be like know everybody and be like, okay, who is that person, who is that person. Like it took me a while just to kind of go through and be like, okay, now I know who is in charge of what, and I know next time if I email I'll be like, hey, so and so, this is what I'm gonna like file delivery or like credit or like invoice. Like it gotta actually, everybody, you gotta put a name to the title, to who that is in the label. That's, I mean, that's
everybody's got a lot of business to do, and the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Like you gotta like keep your name out there around people. Right. You just gotta get other stuff to do.
And that's another thing too. You mentioned about the credits. Like I know in the beginning, like maybe the first project, it was I was new, so I had to like, hey yo, I didn't get credit for this song, and like having those credits and your names attached is everything. You know what I mean? Because that's how more stuff comes in, and you got to be a part of that metadata. So definitely stay on top of that too, for sure. I'm using the Latin Audio LT386 directly in to the BAE 1073. From the 1073, we're going directly into the TubeTech CL1B. And this is essentially what my settings are looking like right here. Bundle of plugins. There's this plugin called Thermal. Man, that bitch is so hard.
C4Play. Baby, talk to me nice. You ain't never seen a player like this in your life.